All right, welcome to another weekend video. This is Enda here from bullwaves.org. It's been a while. I've been on holidays, camping with the kids. So it's hard to do videos while you're, uh, you know, trying to operate and keep children in the same tight space as yourself for 2 weeks. So here I am. It's the July the 4th, so 4th of July. Happy Independence Day to all my fellow waivers over there in the US. I hope you have a great day. Thank God for your great country. It's good to be independent. Let's go through the markets. It's been a strange couple of weeks, but I suppose it's summertime. So what are you going to say? It's sideways and nowhere usually. So we'll go. Let's do a medium term kind of review of what's happened and where we're going right now. So we'll start in the FX markets. This is euro dollar. This is the pattern that I've been kind of basing my analysis around over the last month or so, or a few months actually. It's a long triangle wave B, so you can see that we are most likely, actually was suspecting previously that we had a wave B done here. Switched it this week. It's kind of extended a little longer. There's distinction without a major difference, to be quite honest. The range has continued and continued to the price action has ranged around that 108 level for almost 7 months now. More probably when you go back probably to September last year. So you could say 8-10 months probably now. We've basically ranged, so it's a typical triangle. So very little to nothing you can do about it. Try and trade this and you just take your nose off, basically. The next step, if this triangle is correct, if it's a B wave, upside B wave, then the next step is down in wave C. So, we should be closing out wave E now, and then we turn lower into wave C. Or sorry, wave E of B, and then we turn lower into wave C. So it's, I suppose, the upper end. Let's go with the 4-hour chart just a second again. The upper end would be 109.17. That's C wave. 109.17. So somewhere around there. What are we on the hourly chart? Yeah, 109.15 as wave C of the triangle. So that is the invalidation level basically for this wave count. So we've tracked 3 waves down, most likely. There is a few ways that you can parse this internal pattern here, but suffice to say, a corrective pattern down in wave D, sorry, and then a corrective pattern up in wave E. We've pretty much retraced above 50% of the previous wave D. Let's see, just for pig iron, where are we right now? Oh yeah, we're approaching 62% retracement of wave D in wave E. So, we're right on ballpark for a turn down into wave 1. So it hasn't happened this week. Maybe it happens on Friday. I'm not sure how well traded the market will be on Friday. It's probably a long weekend in the US, but there might be some movement. I'm looking for a decline back below wave D, so that'd be 106.66 as a signal that wave 1 of wave 1 of C is underway. So C wave decline, 5 waves down. That should probably take us most of the rest of the summer, to be quite honest. So let's see how that goes. Okay, here's the 4-hour counting in cable. We've got a decline in retracement that is being counted as a wave 1 and 2. Depending on how you want to view this, I mean, we could go up a degree here. We'll call this wave 1 and 2 in blue to begin wave 3. For the moment, still looking at an extended decline in wave 1, maybe a retracement back into this previous B wave here. we've got about 124.40, let's say, as a target for wave 1. Let's go to the hourly count here. That wave 2 high must hold from here, so that's 128.59. Call it 128, yeah, 128.59. We have come down in 5 waves. In wave 1, expanded flat correction, wave 2. So we've pipped above the 62% retracement in wave 2, so it's time to turn lower again. So we shall see. The alternate here for cable is an extension of this previous wave 2. So we did get very close to invalidation in May, in early June. So we kind of escaped that just by the skin of our teeth. Right now, if we get a retracement back into that previous wave 2 level, I'm going to have to rethink this whole pattern, to be quite honest. But one step at a time. This wave count still holds, so let's see if this second wave turns into a third wave down. In dollar yen, I am looking for a fourth wave correction. We do have some sort of corrective action happening this week. A fourth wave within wave 3, let's say. The wave count has kind of trundled along quite well ever since that May low of 151. So we're now back up 1,000 points. This is 161. You'll remember, go back in the videos, and we were calling this the low. We were calling this a second wave low. We were looking for a continuation of the larger trend higher. And just as people can never, just as right now, let's say the opposite is happening in, risk assets. No one can ever see the end, but no one can ever see a reason why the upside in risk assets should ever stop. And when the dollar declines, no one can ever see a reason why the decline should ever stop. Now maybe we do get a reversal, but I do think that we will get a short correction in a fourth wave, and then a rally higher in wave 5, and then it'll be a series of steps higher in that larger degree 5, most likely to take the rest of the summer, to be quite honest, and maybe even more than that, depending on how this fifth wave works out. If we go to the hourly count, I'll show you where I'm thinking here. You can see that's the wave 1 of 3. We have our wave 2 of 3 back in June, or early June, and then we moved higher, substantially higher off that low into this week's highs. That'll be wave 3 of 3, and it is up for debate. Let's say that's a given. It's up for debate whether we are actually correcting in a fourth wave in pink here, or we're still developing within wave 3 here. So that would suggest then we get a larger extension in wave 3 in pink, and then before declining then into wave 4. It really, well, I suppose we could argue the merits of all sides of it, to be honest, but for the moment we've probably gone far enough in wave 3 in pink to suggest at least a short-term correction in wave 4, and that's what I'll be looking for next week. We will see. How the decline so far hasn't been very convincing, but a decline nonetheless. So let's see how this develops early next week before making any major decisions. I would say that a break of 160 again would really confirm this wave count. And on the very low end, wave 4 should hold above 157.74, and that'd be the wave 1 high. So wave 4 shouldn't break into that wave 1 high. Okay, let's move on. So the Dow still holding that lower high, and still quite corrective. Looking at, we still have a 3-wave move higher we have an impulsive move lower, first of all, in wave 1, and then we have a 3-wave move higher in wave 2. So 3 waves up, broke above the top trend channel, and then moved lower again. So at least in the short term, we have a reasonable second wave lower high. From here, let's go to the hourly count and we'll see where we stand there. So that's second wave. Was I moving at a higher degree? Yes, I was. Anyway, that's shown as a higher degree in the 4 hour count. Anyway, it doesn't change the wave count. We do have 5 waves down in wave 1 off that second wave lower high. So 5 waves down and a corrective move. Now, this corrective move is most likely a triple combination of some sort. It's a very complex pattern. There's, as I said in last night's update, I think just to be brutally honest about it, I don't know. I don't know what's going on in here. It looks corrective. It is holding at a lower high. It does fill a channel. So at least on the merits of the case, it does suggest that it's corrective lower high again, just like in the larger wave count here. We have a wave 1 decline and a wave 2 lower high. So we have a wave 1 decline and a wave 2 lower high. So it's mirrored at a lower degree. We've got no confirmation of that just yet. So I would like to see that wave 2 lower high hold. So 39,580. That should hold as the week goes forward, and we should move down into a third wave. So this would be, if this is correct, then we should be moving into a third of a third wave. So, let's see how that plays out. To be quite honest, it's up in the air at the moment. It hasn't been confirmed yet. I am still, biased towards that way. Nothing new there, says you. Okay, move on. Gold. I have been. Did I trigger? I'm going to look at the alternate count here for gold at the moment. Or first of all, let's say we have a wave 3 high in place. We have moved pretty much oscillated sideways, around that 2350 level. We've swung up and swung below, swung up and swung below. So the range has contracted. It looks like a typical triangle. There is nothing, it's a solid count. There is nothing to, let's say, deny that at the moment. Now, there is an alternate here. So that's let's say a triangle, 4th wave, and we should move higher now from here into a 5th wave. The initial move off that wave 4 low is positive. It does suggest a continuation next week into wave 5. So that's the base case scenario, and you'll see that on the hourly count. Okay, so there is another way of counting this action, and that is a larger, again, a 4th wave correction, but a larger internal pattern, let's say. We would say initial move lower into wave A, that's fine. And then if we, from the wave A low, we could count a triangle in wave B. So you can see wave B marked here in the red box. So wave A down, then A, B, C, D, and E of wave B. And then you would fall down again in wave C. So that would trace out a large, combination wave, 3-wave pattern down towards about 2190, let's say. 2190 to 2150, somewhere down around there. And from that point, we would have our correction in place and we would move higher into wave 5. Again, it's a coin toss at the moment on that one. So we'll see how that kind of plays out over the next few days. At the moment, I'm sticking with the short-term bullish pattern. So that would be a rally in wave 1, probably up towards the previous wave B here. So about 24, break above 2400 anyway, in wave 1, and from there we will look to see what happens. It should form a pretty solid higher low in some form in wave 2 and a larger acceleration then into wave 3 of 5. So if the short-term count is correct here, the main count here, then we have a bullish run higher in wave 5 coming our way pretty soon. Okay, crude oil. Crude oil still holding a lower high in a possible wave 2. No move down to confirm that yet, though. So, and I cannot rule out the possibility that we are just, that something larger is building here. I'm not going to dive right into that just yet because I think the wave count down in wave 1 is pretty solid. The reversal higher into wave 2, while not, let's say, overtly corrective looking, it does break out into 3 waves, and we are coming to an end of it up around 78% retracement level. So for the moment, we're still calling this wave 2. We will see how that breakout, that, let's say, we will see how that resolves over the next week or so. Still not getting my impulsive decline off that lower high in wave 2. I'm looking at this kind of $80 level. We have a previous fourth wave at around that $80 level. We have this internal kind of shoulder of support here within the rally around that $80 level. So a break below that, impulsive break below that, would be a strong hint in favor of wave 1 down. Okay, let's go to the S&P. Again, we're kind of just hugging along that upper trend channel line here. We do have a 5-wave pattern complete. In wave 5 in green, we are putting in very slight new highs, but all it's doing is just, tagging the upper trend channel line, as momentum decreases, as the, all the reasons to buy in have already been given, and we do have a larger 5-wave pattern complete. We have the trend channel is filled in this 5-wave pattern. When we go down here into the hourly count, you will see we have a 5-wave pattern complete there. While the trend channel, let's say that best fit trend channel, hasn't been filled yet, but it's more or less done. And within this final 5th wave here, we do have a 5-wave internal pattern done also. So we have 5th after 5th after 5th after 5th wave. We have top out in momentum and a slowdown. We have large degree patterns all done. Let's go to the hourly count here and I'll show you. That's the 3rd wave, 4th wave, and 5th wave to complete wave 5 in green. And within here, within wave 5 blue, we have wave 1 and 2, extended 3rd wave. We have that kind of last week and a half or 10 days has just been basically ranging sideways. So the corrective 4th wave, you would suggest, and then a pop out to a new high this week. So we have 5 waves up done. Maybe we get another slight push on Friday. Maybe we even fill that channel. We shall see. We shall see. The short-term predictions are, kind of beyond the point, or beyond, or what's the best way of saying that? Pointless. At this point, they're pointless because the larger degree patterns are done, and I do think the future is set on this one. So, and we do have a major non-confirmation between the Dow and the S&P. The S&P has been kind of stuffed full of components from the Nasdaq anyway. So they are kind of just bleeding into one, to be quite honest, at this moment in time. The equal weighted S&P is still down. It never made a new high. I must pull that chart up actually tomorrow or later on today. But the equal weighted and this, skewed S&P are two different beasts, to be quite honest. So we shall see next week. Let's move on. Silver has been an interesting one this week. We do have a slightly different let's say, interpretation on the correction in wave 2. But suffice to say, we still have a wave 1 up, pretty much done. We have a wave 2 down, most likely underway still. And I've been targeting that previous fourth wave low, so that'd be around $25. Say break at $26 anyway. Excuse me, to complete wave 2. We have an initial move down in wave A. I think it could be a leading wedge. I'll show you that in the hourly count. A sideways move, maybe a running flat or an expanded flat. We'll see how that goes. And then don't leave yet. And then a third leg down, wave C down of 2 to come our way pretty soon. So here is the short-term pattern, the hourly pattern. So we have 5 distinct moves down. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Leading wedge pattern, possibly. Or this could be wave A down, wave B up, and then a 5-wave move within wave C. So it could be, you could view it 2 different ways. If we get to the same point, to be quite honest, afterwards we get to the same point. So we have retraced off that level. We've pretty much gone sideways within a range, and we have hit the just below, right in that kind of target area between 50 and 62%. Most likely will probably pop to meet that 62% level with a break above the wave A high. So we've got wave A up, wave B down, and we complete an expanded flat correction with a break above, let's say 30.84, somewhere around that. Maybe we hit $31 and then turn down again into wave C. So I think we will see wave B top out and wave C begin early next week. And how about the NASDAQ? Just for pig iron. You can see actually on the 4-hour count here, we've come up to reach that upper trend channel line again. So that long-term trend channel off the last October lows. We've come up, and now in this 5th wave, we've come up to fill and tag the upper part of that trend channel line, or that trend channel again. So here we are, perfect point to kind of roll over, let's say. On the daily, we have a reversal of an extreme high in momentum. So while I have long desired to turn the rollover in the NASDAQ, here we are, wave 5 of 5, pushing higher and higher. And if you see, this is the large degree trend channel from September 22. We have a 5-wave pattern up from September 22. And we have 5 waves up, pretty much done as well. So it would have been nice to see that close out last year, or early this year. We corrected lower and then ran higher again. Also, although the final move of that correction was quite an impulsive decline, but it was C wave. And we've been pushed up to a new high again, and you can see it does consist of 5 waves. So we've got a 5-wave pattern on the daily count. We've got a reversal of an extreme in momentum, a fill channel, and a very slight throw over within that channel. On the 4-hour count, we've got a lower high in momentum off an extreme high. We've got a trend channel filled, and we've got a 5-wave pattern within wave 5 of 5. And on the hourly count, we have the short-term channel. You can see that this channel here on the hourly corresponds to this channel here. So we have this 5th wave rally. We have a punch above in the 3rd wave. We have a punch above into the 5th wave as well. It seems to be a triangle in a 4th wave, but again, we have this wave 4 and 5 complete in green. And then within that 5th wave in green, we have a 5-wave pattern complete. And then within this 5-wave pattern in blue, or wave 5 pattern in blue, we have a 5-wave pattern complete. You can see that wave 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 up to the upper trend channel line again. And a new high and what is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, probably 7 degrees of trend when you go down and you drill down in there. So 7 degrees of trend of fifth waves complete. So you make your own decisions on what happens after that. Apart from that, we're going to look at Bitcoin. We have the daily count. This could be a correction in Bitcoin, although, I would be, it makes me feel sick to the stomach to even say that, but, the market's going to do what the market's going to do. This could be a 3-wave correction here within a 4th wave before pushing higher into a 5th wave. We'll see how it works out. If you tag below, let's say if you tag 54,000 again, good Lord, there's nothing stopping it going blasting higher into 20,000 higher up towards about 75,000 again. So, God only knows what people are going to do with this thing. I think that kind of closes it out. If we are at the end of this B wave finally, then wave C is coming your way. And wave C here will spell an end to much of what we know about the financial markets and much of what we know about the current economy. You can see here on the weekly chart, we are again topped out, spent, boiled completely. This rally has taken every penny that anyone has in order to get to this point. So there's nothing left. There's nothing left. Nobody has anything left in order to push this any higher. And you know what happened the last time we got here. On the daily, you can see continuing declines in momentum declines in volume, while everyone is so sure that good times are here to stay. The 3-wave pattern higher in wave B is complete. We have an extended rally in the 5th wave of wave C, but there's nothing new there really, to be quite honest. We've got a serious throw over at the top of this C wave, and when the next one comes, it's going to be a killer. So don't let that be the end of you. Just because the market will do what the market's going to do, just because humans do what humans do, and just because things change in the natural, as they always do in the natural, there is an eternal to think about, because this natural will come to an end for all of us, and the eternal is what any serious person should, and at least spend some portion of time thinking about. I don't rehearse these video ends that I do, these kind of little someone once emailed me and said they were sermons, but they're not sermons, they're just me thinking out loud, basically. I've made decisions for my eternity, me and my household, as Joshua said, me and my household, we will follow the Lord, the Creator God, the one who knows the end from the beginning. So someone once, said, or lots of people have said, it's a very weak argument, but lots of people have said that, why does God create us at all if he knows so many of us are going to be, lost, going to be, head on to eternal damnation without your Creator? Well, God is love. That is one of the basic tenets of The Abrahamic faiths, God is love. The God revealed in the Bible is love. If God is love, then love wants to share. Love wants to share of itself. And if love wants to share, then love needs someone, some being to share with. Therefore, hence comes creation. But then the question follows, well, why does God create, us rebellious, thoughtless, evil creatures and so much evil in the world? If God is love, why is there so much evil in the world? Well, if God is love and love wants to share, and therefore comes creation, then God wants to share with a being that loves God. And in order for a being to love, it has to be it cannot be programmed to love, then therefore it's not love. Love can't be programmed into someone. It comes from within, like it has to be generic, or not generic, it has to be generated from within the being itself. It cannot be, if it's programmed into, my computer is programmed. I can't, if I program my computer to love me, it doesn't love me, it's just programmed to love me. So if I program my children to love me, then it's not love. It's just it's just a set of software rules that are running. And God wants love. Because he loves his creation, he wants love from his creation. So it is a prerequisite that a loving God should grant free will to the creation, to the created. And we are the created beings. God grants us free will because he wants us to choose to love him. And it all follows quite logically. We have to choose it. It cannot be programmed into us, so it's up to us to choose. And so many of us choose evil. So many of us choose to walk away. A byproduct of free will is the free will to do evil, as so many of us do. And I'm getting there. Stick with me. Why is there a need of a Messiah? God knows everything from the beginning to the end. He already knows all of time. In God's mind, it's settled. There is free will. When there's free will, God will have people who will choose to love him. There is still the problem of sin. Because we are free will creatures, we will sin. So, you can choose to love God, but you still have a sin problem. So how does a loving God take care of a sin problem? Well, a loving God and a just God requires justice. Again, a prerequisite. So there must be a payment for that sin in the mind of God. It must be settled. It must be paid for. And if he is going to have creatures that love him and choose to love him, then their sin problem must be taken care of. It has to be. It's a prerequisite. It has to happen. And it was settled this way from the beginning. And in order to pay for the sin problem, someone's got to pay it. Someone's got to pay that debt. And God decided to pay for it himself by introducing himself into the stream of time, taking up yoke with the creation that he created, living the perfect life, paying the price for the sin debt to him for his creation that he loved. And also you can logically work through this as well, because you can say, well, how could one man pay the sin debt of the whole world? Well, one man, you can see, if you go back to the animal sacrifices of the Israelites way back when, one animal covered the sin debt of one man for 1 year. So if one animal can cover the sin debt of one man for 1 year, then we go higher. What pays for the sin debt of a man for a life? Well, God says it's a life for a life. It has to be. If you want to pay the sin debt of someone else, you have to give up your life for them. So a mortal man can pay the sin debt. An animal can pay the sin debt for a man for 1 year. A mortal man can pay the sin debt of another man for a life, in a life for life trade. But what man can pay the sin debt of all of creation, all of his creation, for all of time? God, the God man. That's who can. So it's a prerequisite. It's in there. It has to happen. The Messiah was the God man, one like a son of man, as Daniel said, riding on the clouds of heaven. The God man came down, manifested, took on flesh. If God, does God ever leave eternity? No. But if God was to reach into creation, take on the body of a man, he would also be in eternity and in creation at the same time. So God can't leave eternity. So he would be the creation that takes on God who takes on the flesh of man would be a son of God. It has to be. And that's why Yeshua, Jesus, the Messiah, is the Son of God. God incarnate, the Son of God. Came down, lived the perfect life, sinless, under the law, died under the law, and that's at the end of his life, his last words were, "It is finished." He paid the debt. It's done. You still have free will, so you have a free will to choose that, or you have a free will to deny that. You can accept that free will offering, that gift of salvation, or you can deny it. And that's that. And I'll leave it there. I think I just reasoned from logic the reason for all of creation and messianic salvation. Okay. That'll only happen on this channel. You'll never see that anywhere else. Okay. God bless. Have a good weekend. Happy 4th of July to all of my friends and family in the US. I do have family in the US. And I'll see you on the other side.